My name is Shuren, and I'm originally from Mongolia. And I recently graduated from University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. And I'm also going back there to the same school for master's in technology management. So I'm very excited for that too.
Wow, exciting. Exciting because you got a bachelor's degree
Yeah,
and you plan to continue your education with a master's degree.
yeah.
Great plan. But in between, what's going on? Share good news with our friends, please.
Yes, so I got my internship at Shure Incorporated. I'm sure a lot of people know about this company, like the best audio company. I wouldn't say in the world, but definitely in the United States for sure. And I got in as a financial planning and analysis intern for the summer. And it's been a month now, so I'm just like enjoying every day here.
So cool. Definitely. And it's here in the suburb of Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Niles, Illinois, the headquarters. We do have like almost over 40 global locations, and there's one in Chicago as well, but it is a
Mhm.
smaller office. The headquarters is only Niles, and it's a
Mhm.
big 8-floor glass building here.
Amazing. Amazing. Would love to see your picture with the brand
Yes,
behind you.
I
Okay, please share with me.
yes. And also what's interesting is like it's same as my name too.
Oh, yes, Sharon and sure.
Sure.
Ah,
And just like without the N, it's the same thing. Yeah.
right, right. So cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool. Because
Okay.
I do remember like over 2 years ago taking like because I was passing by Niles before and I like one of my friend like mentioned,
Hmm.
oh, that's your name. Like you should go and take a picture. And I remember actually taking the picture outside the office like way before too. And
That's
it's
so
so
awesome.
interesting how I got in here as well.
Such a destiny.
Yeah.
So tell us more. How did they find you?
I think I first, as you know, before my resume and LinkedIn, like my everything, I think it wasn't good. And through ICAway, after fixing everything, resume, LinkedIn, and the most important thing is like connections, right? So I did have a lot of like, I tried to connect with as many people as I can. And I did coffee chats too. And then just I think I found it on LinkedIn because back then I was trying to look for only like finance internships. Wasn't like really supposed to be financial planning and analysis, but just finance internship. And then I found out about Shure, like they have an
Mm.
open position. And then I applied first. But
Mhm.
then I wasn't expecting anything back then. I was just applying to a lot of companies back then too. So I was just like, okay, I'll just apply to this. And then I got an interviews. So I was so surprised too because I wasn't expecting that back then.
Yeah, and it's great company. And it took time for you to, adjust your new resume, right?
Yes.
And also connecting with people, I believe it has helped you become more comfortable speaking about
Mhm.
yourself.
Yes. And
Mm.
I think you do get a lot of information from those people that you sometimes you cannot find everything on the internet or on the website too, some internal information as well. And I think connecting with people and like just getting your name out there so that these people can remember you at least a little bit, I think it helps.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely helps. And you have a lifetime of career
Yeah.
development. And those connections that you have made, they will be your new referrals or even
Mhm.
potential mentors.
Yes.
All right. Let us walk through the memory lanes a little bit. How did you find out about ICOA?
I think first thing was when I first joined University of Illinois, just I was just like mass applying to just anything I see because I didn't know how to actually like apply. I was just like, okay, this seems interesting, apply. But even like my resume wasn't that good too. And then I kept getting rejections. Like I can't even count how many. It was just like hundreds of rejections. And then that summer, like almost all of my friends got internships. And then I suddenly thought like something is wrong. It's like my resume or something is definitely wrong with what I'm like submitting, right? So I started doing a lot of research on the internet, and then I found out about ICAway. And then while looking for like at the on the website, I really liked it. And then and I think also because like ICAway has these like percentages like showing like close to 100%, like 90 something percent. So I was like, oh, I want to try this out. And after I joined, I never regretted. I think it's like one of the best decisions I've made.
That means the world to me. Thank you so much. And we are fortunate to get a chance to coach you.
Yeah, and also like it's important, and also like finding like Coach One, and like I think I have a mentor that I can reach out to anytime now, that I think we have a really nice mentor-mentee relationship, and it's just like nice to have someone who understands you, who's always there for you. So
So happy to hear that.
Mhm.
Yes, you have lifetime membership here and utilize our alumni network
Yeah.
and our current member as well. We're going to be a long lasting community
Yeah.
because as an international student in a global world, it's not going to be easy that we need to have that support system
Yes, for
in our
sure.
life.
And I'm so
Awesome. Yes. And I would love to hear your thought on this. What would happen if your university had offered the ICAway talent platform from your day one in the US?
I think I definitely would have found my internship already in the freshman year already,
Yeah.
because I think the one thing I regret is just joining ICAway too late. I think I found out too late. I joined too late. I mean, I did get an internship in the end, but still, I feel like if if I knew all these things way back when I first started, it would have been better. And I think I wasted at least like my freshman, sophomore year, don't know what to do. And just like, because I was starting from scratch, and like no one taught me how to apply, what to do. There was no one to guide me in anything. So just me being alone and just like applying to anything I see was just the way back then. And I wish I had a guidance like this when I first started as well.
Yes, we would love to get a chance to coach students on day one when they
Yeah.
arrive in the US for sure, because the earlier you start, the better,
Yeah.
right? Utilize your CPT and then OPT and post OPT.
Yeah, because I feel like I
Mhm.
wasted a lot of years not knowing what to do. So it would be really nice if I could go back in time. I would definitely join ICOA like in my freshman year.
We would love that too. We really hope that, universities that want to utilize our support system use it for their students so that
Yeah.
we can start helping the students from day one.
Yes.
Now, what about this? I would love to learn a little bit about your experience, like which part of the training that you find most helpful.
In the ICOA platform, right?
Mhm.
There are so many, but two things, definitely resume, and definitely LinkedIn as well. And
Mhm.
I think a third thing is definitely interview tips. I think these three things are like the most important things I got out of ICAway, and just learning. I still remember how you mentioned like, oh, we're gonna start from scratch again on your resume. Yeah, so back then it was like, oh, I mean, my resume looks okay though, but definitely it wasn't. And I learned like actually like bullet by bullet, like how to write everything from scratch,
Mhm.
just cover letters, how to do behavioral interviews, technical interviews, just and then I think another most important thing was how to connect with people. That was like another most important thing that I got out of ICAway too, because I think I did go to a lot of career fairs before, but then also I didn't know how to actually approach people and how to talk to people. And I think I remember like meeting a lot of people, but never like getting their emails or LinkedIn or anything. So I cannot connect with them again. So I
Mm.
think these guidance and just like step by step, like especially like I think the most important thing is resume for sure.
So happy to hear that. Looking for job is already hard, but
Mhm.
for international students, you have to show that you are the specialist in your field in order to bypass that immigration hurdles, right? So resume is not just a record of your experience,
Yeah.
but it is your brand. So you
Yeah.
need to have that brand.
Like I think it's important to read the job description first, and those are things I learned from ICOA too, and just like kind of know what the recruiters are looking for, putting it on there so that you pass the resume screening first. Yeah.
Absolutely. Understand what the job requires
Yes.
before building your brand.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Now, can you please share some tips to the students out there, maybe who are graduating next year or the end of this year? Let's say they feel like they are so struggling in looking for job. What would be your tips for them?
First tip is definitely never give up.
Hmm.
Just keep going, because that's almost what I did too. Because at one point it was really hard, because when you get like hundreds of rejections and no, I think then you start feeling like, oh, I guess I'm not good, or I guess there are just many people who are better than me. I'm never gonna make it. Like you start getting these thoughts, but then when you don't give up, then it opens more doors. And even if you get rejections, like I feel like those things will make you stronger and like kind of open more opportunities for you. Yeah, so definitely that. And more on the tips on the, especially for the international students, because I know how hard it can be, and especially with the sponsorships and just like competing with all the American students here as well. I think it is like definitely, I feel like it's like almost 10 times harder than those students, as you have to pass more hurdles. But then I think it's important to showcase your own skills.
Hmm.
It's not even about being better or anything, but like like just being yourself and then just showcasing who you are. I think that's important. And then I feel like that's how my manager and like the people who interviewed me saw as well in the interview, because I was just being me, and then they saw me, and they also mentioned how we don't only look for people who like matches these requirements. It's also like part of how you are as a person and whether you fit in with the company culture. And it's not even about like always about hard skills, like oh you can code this, or you can like oh you can these like softwares. It's not just that. I think it's more important like also soft skills, whether you can work in a team, whether you are good at communicating with people. Because every job you work on, you will work in a team, right? And just you will always be surrounded with people. So if you just always work alone, which is, I think it's hard when it comes to any job. So these things are definitely important, and it's definitely important to showcase these also in your bullet points on the resume as well. And for interviews, I would say don't like rehearse and memorize like every single line. I think I did get one interview like last year before, and then I think I rehearsed too much. Like I sounded so robotic, and I went through all the interview tips on ICAway, and then I got like I actually like implemented everything on my interview this time, and it went well. I think I
Awesome.
only like prepared like For the technical stuff, definitely prepare a little bit, like what to say, but then don't like memorize line by line and just like as if you're reading a book. I think it's important to sound like a human and just converse with those people, because on the other side, those are also just human beings and they don't want to just talk to a wall. Like you need to like ask questions, and whether you have like interests or hobbies on your resume too, it's important to ask like, oh, do you also play soccer? Like, oh, I do too, and like have a conversation going instead of like, oh, I do this. I think it's, yeah, I think that's very important in interviews as well.
That's perfect. You summarize so well what we have on the training for the students.
Yeah.
Yes, for international students, like you have cultural barriers, language barriers. So when it comes to job interviews, many students tend to be scripted and
Yeah.
over practiced, over prepared. And then they got shocked when they didn't get the questions that, they
Yeah.
prepare for it and they
Yeah.
got frozen. And don't let that happen for sure, right? You're
Yeah.
there to create a conversation
Yeah.
and uncover their true needs, why they need you to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's important because what I did was I just had like stories in my mind that I can use in any question types. I think a lot of student like people like when they interview, they write it out on like to a
Mhm.
answer as to a certain question, but then it will be only answered to that question. And if that question doesn't come up on the interview, then you're kind of stuck and you don't know what to say. But instead just having a story and whatever they ask, you can kind of like change it around and answer it tailored towards that question. And I think that's important because
That,
we never really know what questions they will actually ask.
mm,
So
no, it can come in so many different angles,
yeah,
right? Yes, different angles. And you're right. Just have that a little bit of, your story, and then that structure that we have.
yeah.
That's it. Don't make it as a
Because
script.
I think it's very sad because even for international students, getting the interview is already hard. Like passing the
Mhm.
resume screening is so hard. And once you get that interview and then you like sound like that and you mess up the interview, I think it will be really sad if you don't use that opportunity well. Because I
Yeah,
think even getting to that point is already hard. So
true. So true. All right. Any other things that you want to say to our listeners today?
definitely first thing, join ICAway because it will definitely be worth it. I think it's not even about the money anymore because the things you learn, it will last lifetime. And the people like Coach Kwan, like your mentor, last lifetime as well. So these things you can really buy with money. I think and no one will like steal your knowledge from your brain. And I think it's like, it's really important to keep those things in mind. And also like, yeah, just like kind of paying attention to every single lesson that's on ICAway because I did see like how the order is placed out for everyone to like, if you don't like follow these instructions, then it doesn't work. And there is a reason why Coach Kwan made it that way. So, and I really liked the plan from the start. Like when we had the first call, I think I already knew like I got into the right thing. So yeah, it was really helpful, and it will really help with your resume and showcasing how different you are from other people too.
So proud of you. And you got this job how many months before graduation?
I think I like called you like the day I got
I
the offer.
know. I got the voicemail.
I think that was November.
Yeah, last
So
fall,
yeah,
right? And
so I
you
graduated in May.
May this year, this
Yeah,
summer, right? So more than 6 months.
yeah.
How did you feel about not being, do not have to struggle looking for job after graduation?
Oh, my last semester in university was so chill because I already like got past like all the stress and everything.
Congratulations again. You got this job 6 months before graduation and you're now working at the global company right after graduation on your OPT.
Yeah.
So happy for you.
Yeah, I still can't believe it, even though I come here every day.
Well, your dream comes true and
Yeah.
you made it happen.
Mhm.